Hi, I'm Kristin Omdahl and welcome back to my studio. I've been a teacher, designer, and author in the craft industry for over 15 years. In this video, I want to show you some tips and tricks for making one of the projects from my brand new book, 52 Crochet Gifts. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make the Juni fingerless mitts. These floral embossed fingerless mitts are based on a filet crochet structured stitch pattern, and the flower petals are worked simultaneously onto the surface of the fabric as you go. The 3D texture is feminine with a flirty vibe. You're going to need 350 yards of number 1 fingering weight yarn and an E4 or 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. I'll be using Be So Toasty, which is my merino wool and bamboo blended yarn that comes 590 yards per 4-ounce ball. This is hand-dyed colorway aqua, and you'll only need 1 ball to make both of the fingerless mitts. Let's get started. Row 1 is going to be foundation double crochet, and how we begin that is by tying our yarn to our crochet hook. You can use a square knot, a slip knot. There's no wrong way to tie your yarn to your crochet hook. And foundation double crochet starts with a chain 3, which will count as our first stitch. And our second stitch is yarn over your hook, insert your hook into the 3rd chain from your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1 loop on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook. We now have a second stitch. So the chain 3 counted as our first double crochet, and the second foundation double crochet counts as our second double crochet. And when we did the yarn over pull through 1, it created this loop here on the edge, which in this position looks like a vertical bar, and when you look at the stitches the way they would look as a row, it looks like a horizontal bar. Either way, it is that loop that kind of replaces the beginning chain and gives us a much stretchier finish than if we started with a beginning chain, and that's the loop that we're going to work our next foundation double crochet in. So it'll be yarn over your hook, insert your hook into that bar below the double crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1 loop on your hook, that yarn over, pull through 1, that's the one we're going to work into for our next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. And we'll repeat this until we have a total of 39 stitches. Okay, this is what your work should look like at the end of row 1. Row 2 begins with a chain 3, which counts as a double crochet. Turn your work, 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. And our repeat across the row is chain 2, skip 2 stitches, double crochet in the next, chain 2, skip 2 stitches, and double crochet in the next, chain 2, skip 2 stitches, double crochet in the next, and double crochet 1 stitch in each of the next 3 stitches. And we'll repeat that across the entire row. This is what your work should look like at the end of row 2. Row 3 begins with a chain 3, which counts as a double crochet. Turn your work, 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Chain 2, double crochet in the next double crochet, chain 2, double crochet in the next double crochet. Okay, and now at this point, this is when we're going to work our flower petals, the 4 flower petals, around each of the 4 lines of this square. So we're going to turn our work 90 degrees, slip stitch around that last double crochet just worked, chain 3, 3 double crochets around the side of that same stitch, chain 3, and slip stitch around that same stitch. Now we'll turn our work 90 degrees again and working into that chain 3 from the row below, we're going to slip stitch around it, chain 3, 3 double crochets around that chain 2 space, chain 3, and slip stitch around that same space. Then turn our work again, and now working in the side of that next double crochet, slip stitch around the stitch, chain 3, 3 double crochets around the stitch, chain 3, slip stitch around that same stitch, and now we'll turn our work 90 degrees again, and now we're working along the chain 2 space along the top of the row. So the second to last thing we just did before we started the petals, we did a chain 2 and double crochet in the double crochet. So this is our last chain 2 space. We're going to chain 3, 3 double crochets around the chain 2 space, chain 3, slip stitch into that same space. And now that our flower is complete, we're going to carry on in our established pattern. So it's a chain 2, and then double crochet in the next double crochet. And so you can see here now we did, for the row, we did the same thing we did for the previous row. We did chain 2 double, chain 2 double, chain 2 double, but we also, after that chain 2 double, the second chain 2 double, we then worked this petal. We turned our work 90 degrees and worked this petal, turned our work 90 degrees and worked this one, turned our work 90 degrees and did this one, and turned our work 90 degrees and did this one. So we went this way, this way, this way, and then came back to the top. And now we'll continue on in our established pattern until it's time to do our next petal. So then it's 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, and now we'll repeat this across the row. After the second chain 2 double crochet, we're now ready to work another flower. So we'll turn our work 90 degrees. And then turn our work 90 degrees and do another petal. Turn our work 90 degrees and work another petal. And turn our work 90 degrees to work one more petal. And then continue on in our established pattern. And this is what the end of row 3 should look like. Row 4 is a repeat of row 2. Only it gets a little tricky around the flower, so I'll show you when we get there. So we did a chain 3 that counts as our first double crochet, 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, chain 2, and we're going to work a double crochet in the next double crochet. And because the flower petals are worked around that double crochet, you might have to dig a little bit to find the actual stitch. Then chain 2 and double crochet in the next double crochet, and again it could be hidden in there because of all of the wrapping around these stitches we did to make the petals, so you may have to dig a little bit, but you can find it. Chain 2, double crochet in the next double crochet, and 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, and we'll just repeat that across our row. This is what the end of row 4 should look like. Row 5 begins with a chain 3 and turn our work, and we're going to work 1 double crochet in each stitch and each chain across. And what that means, obviously, 1 double crochet in each double crochet, but then when we come to the next chain 2 space, that means it's chain 2, it gets 2 double crochets. You could either work into each of the 2 chains, or you could work just into the space, but if you're going to work into the space, just make sure you do 2 double crochets in that space, and then double crochet in the next stitch. So we're going to work 1 double crochet in each stitch and chain across. And this is what your work will look like at the end of row 5. You'll want to refer to your pattern to see how to turn this simple stitch pattern with beautiful flowers into an offset pattern by starting and ending your row with a different combination of stitches. Then you can sew this together, or single crochet through both thicknesses, or slip stitch through both thicknesses to turn this flat, simple pattern into a tube, leaving a hole for your thumb. When you refer back to the pattern, it'll tell you exactly where to leave the opening for the thumb hole, and we'll be doing foundation double crochets for the ribbed edging on both sides of the tube. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please leave them for me in the comments. And don't forget, all the links from the things that we talked about in this video are available in the video description below. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. I'll see you in the next video.